some information about our town, Tzfat. I'm the deputy mayor of the town, and today is my turn to be in the gallery. Tzfat is the town of the art, and it started when Marc Chagall, you know about Marc Chagall?
No.
Marc Chagall is one of the great Jewish artists that came from Russia, from Belarus actually, and he moved to Tzfat in 1958. This is his collection, this wall. And Marc Chagall is the first artist, yes, Chagall, yeah. He moved to Tzfat in 1958 and he planning to stay in Tzfat for a couple of weeks because he wanted to understand about the Kabbalah. You know about the Kabbalah? Okay, the Kabbalah born in this town 2,000 years ago. And he planning to stay a few weeks to understand the Kabbalah, but he stayed 4 years. And when he was in Tzfat, he opened the art school. And he is the reason that we have the artist colony. Today they live in Tzfat about 250 different artists that come all over the country to live here. We have one of the best art schools in Israel. And after that, Marc Chagall left Tzfat, he donated all of his collection. Those is original signed lithographs. The original of those hanging in the best museum. The lithograph he donated to art school to support the art school. This is the reason that we have this collection. See, this gallery, you're going to see in Tzfat a lot of gallery, but this gallery, it's a gallery that belongs actually to the city of Tzfat. We support all the young artists and all the artists who live in Tzfat. So if somebody like to buy art, so here in this gallery, don't pay no VAT, no tax, and no shipping. The city of Tzfat covered all the expense. In the same period of time that Chagall came here, we have one of the famous artists, and he's actually become a legend in our country. This guy made those sculptures that you see around. His name is Nicky Imber. And Nicky Imber became very famous because he's the only Jew that escaped from Dachau, from the camp. And he escaped in a very unusual way. When he was in Dachau and he saw what's happened there, he promised to himself that he must escape. He created a mask from bread and sand, one of the faces of the German officer that was there. And he steal his clothes. And at the right time, he just put the mask on himself. He dressed like a German officer and he walked out from the front door of Dachau. It's a beautiful story. They've just now they published a beautiful movie by the movie support by Elie Wiesel. You know Elie Wiesel? Elie Wiesel is
He's a survivor of Auschwitz and a prolific writer.
Elie Wiesel, he wrote a beautiful book about him. The book is the name of the book is The Survivor. And he also supported a beautiful movie about him, how he escaped and how he made the mask. He and the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. If you'll be interested, we can show you a nice, the poem. The poem is about 4 minutes. 4 minutes, just to get the idea. He's the most famous artist. Moshe Tefilin is the most famous artist. Also because his uncle wrote the national song, the Tikva. You know, the national song of Israel, the Tikva. It's written by his uncle. And also one of his pieces, the Israeli government, when they made the peace with Egypt, the Israeli government decided that this will be the right symbol. And this is the one. And you're going to see it in the movie in the next side. When Israeli made the peace with Egypt, they gave one to Begin, one to Sadat, and one to Jimmy Carter. This guy that you see in the movie, he's just planning to play for about 2 minutes. He's also a survivor. He's also one of the painters. His name is Ben Avram.
Grandpa, what are you doing?
I'm remembering an old friend who created this remarkable sculpture.
So realistic. Where would anyone get the idea to make this kind of work?
My darling, the inspiration behind this sculpture came from witnessing the most horrific possible loss any human being could endure.
What do you mean? Which loss?
My dear child, it's very hard for me to explain. But I have a letter that my friend friend, the sculptor, wrote to me, "Come, my dear, sit next to me, and I'll read it to you." Carmel, 1983.
Dear friend, first of all, I can't tell you in words what it means to me that you are still alive. You must have thought I was murdered like the rest of my family. I remember you said that if you survived, you will never read a newspaper again. So although my name is in the press worldwide, you might not have heard what happened to me. Let me tell you briefly how I escaped and what became of me. After I saw my loved ones ripped away from me and murdered in front of my eyes, families huddled together, the feeble and the elderly left alone, my pain turned into anger, and I knew deep inside I would find a way out. It took me exactly 9 months, 7 days, 5 hours and 45 minutes before I was able to break free. I never mentioned to you that I studied art in the Academy of Vienna. I was unaware of it at the time, but what I was taught there would be crucial to my escape. On the cold nights I created a mask that replicated the face of a Nazi soldier. I prayed to God every day to keep me alive and give me strength. It was a big risk, but I took it. After, I stole a uniform and put on a mask. I walked through the gate unnoticed. Many things have happened to me since I left Dachau, but I will only mention a few. After the war broke out, I opened an art school in Nairobi, Kenya. I traveled extensively to North and South America and found living in Venezuela to be my best option. I became known in New York for my oil paintings depicting important personalities, and I returned to Venezuela to create the world's largest historical animal park. At the time, I was already respected in the art world, but my dream was yet to be achieved. Despite all that I had accomplished, I had a constant feeling of unease. I needed to belong. I felt unsettled, wandering. Back in Dachau, I had promised myself that if I escaped, I would use my art to depict the horrific events that took place there. I wanted every Jew in every generation to relate through my sculptures to the cruelty and suffering of the exile. In 1978, I was allowed to complete this dream. In the city of Carmiel, in northern Israel, I built the Holocaust Memorial Park and named it From Holocaust to Resurrection. I know you are far away, and God knows if you will ever be able to visit the exhibit, so I will describe it to you. The Memorial Park is a complex of 3 groups of statues. All the sculptures were inspired by the Torah. The first group is called Holocaust. It is made up of 3 statues. A skinny man wrapped in spiky wires representing the ghetto. A woman kneeling, embracing a child, desperately begging for her life. And the third is a man carrying his friend. The second set of statues, entitled Aliyah, encapsulates my longing, my need to find a home. This verse from Ezekiel, "And I will put my spirit in you and you shall live, and I will place you in your own land," was the source of my inspiration. The third set is labeled Hope. These pieces were inspired by the Israeli national anthem Hatikvah, which was written by my great uncle, Naftali Herz Imber. It displays a proud woman holding a child to the sky. These statues must serve as a living testimony to the anguish and cruelty that a whole generation suffered at the hands of the Nazis. No matter how painful it is to remember, we must never forget. The Memorial Park became a popular attraction. I was able to memorialize the fallen and the wounded. I hope that this sculpture, The Wandering Jew, reaches you and projects the emotion we have both kept inside all these years. Sincerely yours, Nicky Imber. P.S. Always remember, a single dream can be more powerful than 1,000 realities.
Movie
Wow.
published by the Jewish Museum in New York now. Now, beside Nicky Imber, that after that he passed away, that he donated all of his collection to the city of Tzfat. It's the only place in Israel that still has original pieces, and Mark Shogah that we're exclusive of those original lithographs. We have here a lot of young artists, and some of them are very popular, like this artist, that is the manager of the art school in Tzfat. And he developed a very unique style. He painted on top of magazine. The background is magazine, which you glue, and on top of the magazine, you paint with 5 different mediums, which really give a different effect. But if you come close, you can see all the writing of the magazine behind the painting, or different photo in the back. You can see more the magazine. They become very popular in Israel in the last few years. It's the new generation. And in each room of the gallery, you can see a lot of young artists that's each one creating a different technique. And you can enjoy it. If you like to know more detail about anything, it will be my pleasure to answer you and to give you all the information. The most important that you're going to enjoy in our beautiful town. Thank you.
תודה. תודה. That was the assistant deputy mayor of Safad giving us.
Let's look around, really take your time. We have lots of time in Sfat today, so this is a very, very nice gallery.